Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia, and I'm a counselor here with the San Francisco Unified School District and the Enrollment Center. We'll get started in a few minutes, so feel free to just come in, relax, and we'll get started right at 5:30. Thank you. Okay, welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our workshop this evening. I'm going to give families just a few more minutes to come in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So we're right at 5:30. So just to respect everyone's time, I'll go ahead and get started. If you look into the chat, I did post my contact information. So if for some reason you need to leave early, or because we're such a large group, if you prefer not to ask your question in front of everyone, that's totally fine. What you have here is my direct extension, my email, as well as a link to my calendar. So if you would like to make a 15-minute phone appointment with me, please feel free to do so. It gives you complete access to my calendar. So just to reintroduce myself, my name is Alicia Marie, and I'm a counselor with the San Francisco Unified School District in the Enrollment Center. So tonight we're going to go over the enrollment process and how to create a list. Just so you can see here, I am doing the presentation by myself this evening. So I just ask that if you do have any pressing questions, if you can please put them in the chat. I'll go ahead and go through the entire slide deck, which should take about 10 minutes or so. And then from there, I'll answer your questions. But just because I can't see you and the slide deck at the same time, I just ask, please, if you can put your questions in the chat, I'll be sure to answer them and then take any live questions from there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start sharing for the slides. And again, thank you guys all for coming this evening. It's really nice to have a full group. Okay. So welcome to the Enrollment Center's enrollment workshop for the year 24-25. Just so you know, the application is due February 2nd of 2024. And if you would like to scan the QR code here, you can actually have a copy of the slides, and I'll include it in the chat as soon as I'm finished. So just to go over the agenda this evening, we'll go over the objectives, enrollment basics, creating a list, submitting the application, a short recap, and then my favorite part, answering your questions. So just know here at the Enrollment Center, we are here to help you. We're available Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30, and we do not close for lunch. We are available by phone, by email, and also in person if you decide you would like to come down to visit us. Our address is 555 Franklin Street for our downtown office, and we also have an office in the Southeast or the Bayview District that has staff there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the objectives for today is that I hope that you all will be able to walk away with a clear understanding of SFUSD's enrollment process and resources, feel confident about completing the application, and above all else, know where to go for help. So a little roadmap to success. The first thing you're going to want to do is gather your documents. We will go over which documents we'll need to complete the online application. To create a great and healthy school list, and we'll go over the school finder as well, and then submit the online application on time, February 2nd, 2024. So we know that there's a lot going on between now and February, so I highly suggest you sign up for enrollment updates. You can do so with email if you go to sfusd.edu/subscribe, or if you prefer, you can also do it by text. This is good because it helps you to know about, workshops, deadlines, letting you know that your assignment letter is ready, different things like that. So I do suggest signing up for updates to help keep you on track. So we're going to enter into the enrollment basics. This is probably one of the most important slides. So I do recommend if you're able to screenshot or take a picture of this slide to please be able to do so. As you can see, October 20th has already passed. So that means that the online application and the paper application are both available to you by now. So I'm going to skip over some of the dates that have passed. Going to December 15th. If there are any families here who are applying for high school, please be aware that the Lowell and SOTA deadlines have different dates than the main round deadline. So if you are interested in applying to either of those schools, great. Please just make sure you do so by December 15th, so that way we can process your application. For the rest of you who are applying for TK through 8th grade, or if you're applying for high school, not Lowell and SOTA, please be sure to apply by February the 2nd by 5 p.m. So after you've applied, then we do our part and we let you know your assignment notification the week of March the 18th. After that, you will receive a letter. It's basically saying this is your assignment and your instructions. Please be sure to read the instructions from your personalized letter. I know some of you may be in preschools with your friends or your neighbors. Please just know that your letter is specific for your student. So please follow those instructions by April the 5th. That's the deadline you need to let us know if you accept or decline your main round assignment. If you don't do anything, you may lose your assignment. So that's why it's very important that you read your personalized letter and respond back to us if you accept or decline. So for the age eligibility, what's nice is that TK has expanded this year. So we can now accept students who are born between September 2nd of 2019 through June 2nd of 2020. If your student was born on or before first grade, they can go automatically into kindergarten. The required documents we were talking about earlier in the presentation, we'll need the child's proof of birth. So this can be the baptism record, the birth certificate, the passport, hospital record. All of those are totally fine. We'll need a proof of address in the parent's name. So we ask if it's like a utility bill or if it's pay stub or government document that is within the last 45 days. If it's something like a car registration or the property tax or a lease, just make sure it's the current year's one. And then we'll just need the parent's photo ID. If your student is receiving special education services or if there's guardianship paperwork, you can also upload those documents onto the online application as well. So going to the part that probably you guys have the most questions about are the tiebreakers. So simply put, tiebreakers are basically preferences or priorities in the lottery. If we take, for example, the elementary attendance area, we're looking for those that apply that already have siblings attending the school. Those who went to pre-K or TK and SFUSD pre-K or TK and live in that specific attendance area, we give them the next preference. From there, we look to those who live in low test score areas. So this might be parts of Chinatown, parts of Mission, parts of Bayview, Treasure Island, parts of Sunnydale. We look for those families and then we give them a priority. Then after that, it's those who live in that school-specific attendance area. So I know for some of your dream schools, they may not be, like, I don't have a tiebreaker. Should I really apply? Yes, absolutely. Because let's just say, for example, if a school, let's say, has 20 seats, we give 5 to those who have tiebreakers. The rest of the seats will be given in the random lottery and will be assigned a random number. So you could really get the one that you would like. So my suggestion is that you apply for all the schools you are looking for in the order of preference, regardless of the tiebreakers. But this, chart here just kind of gives you a way of knowing this is how we do the lottery system, but it's not to, kind of scare you into applying for your favorite schools. So just kind of keep that in mind. Going from there, we're going to talk about making a list. So really creating a school list is what's most important to you. If you're looking for before or after school care, if you want your student to learn a language, if you're looking for a school that starts early or a school that starts later, these are all questions you have to ask yourself. But the number one question we usually hear from parents is, how many schools should actually go on my list? So we recommend at least 5 school choices, regardless of what grade you're applying for. But if you're applying for kindergarten, we really recommend more, like at least 10 schools. That's because, as you saw with the tiebreakers, a lot of our schools start filling up, and we want to make sure that we get something that could work for you. But if you're having trouble deciding, like, okay, I only have like 7 schools that would work for me, we have this really neat tool called the School Finder. And you can find this at sfusd.edu/schoolfinder. What's nice about this is that you can actually enter in your home address and the grade that you're looking for. You can filter it by start times, language programs, if your child is receiving special education services. And what this tool will do is it's going to put all the schools from those that are closest to you to those that are furthest to you. So there may have been 1 or 2 that you missed in between your favorite schools that you can actually go ahead and apply for. So we really recommend that you use this School Finder list, so that way you can basically like make your list strong of what you're applying for. We also have our paper enrollment guide. So if you prefer the paper edition of the kind of like the School Finder, that's not a problem. You can get one at our office, or if you reach out to me directly, I can send you the link and you can also view it on your phone or on your iPad. From there, we ask that if there's schools you just weren't sure about, didn't know about, that you go on a school tour. So we have our sfusd.edu/tours. It's a centralized website where we will be giving all the tour information. So those of you who may have applied for tours in the past may remember some of our schools, you had to go onto the school website. Others, you had to go onto SFUSD's website. So we've now centralized everything for signing up for tours to make it easier for families. So please feel free to go ahead and go to sfusd.edu/tours, and then we can help you to get a school tour. So SFUSD also offers language programs. So if you're looking for your child to learn the language of Cantonese, Korean, Mandarin, or Spanish, we offer what's called a dual language immersion program. So basically, you want your child to continue to learn in this language. We also have a biliteracy program in Cantonese and Spanish. This is more geared to families where the student's native language would be Cantonese. They might need a little bit more help in English, or if they speak Spanish, again, need a little bit more help with English. So it's just the day is basically broken up 50-50. But the immersion program, which is probably what most of you are looking to apply for, would actually be the one where you want your child to learn this language. If you're looking more for like a FLES program, so that's a foreign language and elementary school program, Basically, it's not as much time in the immersion learning the language, but they're exposed to it. They're exposed to the culture, to the area where it's spoken. We do have this in Cantonese, Spanish, Arabic, Filipino, and Vietnamese. We do have a very popular JBBP program, the Japanese Bilingual Bicultural Program, that's offered at Clarendon. Also, it's offered at Rosa Parks. So you can also apply for that one. And then for any families who are new to the country and their child needs extra support, we have newcomer programs available as well. Moving on to special education, if your child is receiving special education services, please feel free to message me and let me know. I can connect you with one of our wonderful special education counselors who can go over the IEP that your student has and let you know which schools would probably be best for them to apply to. So just some really important notes we want to say. So for those families who are joining us tonight who are applying for the 6th grade, you must apply for your middle school feeder if you would like to go there. Now, what ends up happening is that some families think, well, I thought the middle school feeder was just automatic. If I didn't get something on my list, that would be the school they would go to. But that is not the case. So even if your middle school feeder is more of like your 3rd or 4th choice, that's not a problem. Make sure you list it on your application so we know that you want to go there. If you're looking for, well, let's just say with round 2, I try not to go too much into round 2 in these, workshops because I don't want to confuse anyone with the process. But just because I have your attention, we do mention this. Let's say in the main round or round 1, you go through and you say, okay, I got my number 3 choice. You're fine with it. It could totally work for you and your family. But of course, you would want your number 1 or number 2 choice. So that's when you can participate in round 2. It's totally optional. If you do decide to participate, please just note that it replaces your round 1 assignment. So you can't choose like, oh, I like my number 3 and now I get my number 2. It doesn't work like that. We just assume whatever you put on your round 2 application is a school you want more than what you have. So just keep that in mind if you decide to participate. And if you would like more information about round 2, please feel free to reach out to me directly. For those of you who were here earlier, and I'll put my information again, we can have an appointment and I can let you know offline more information about all the subsequent rounds after the main round. So some important changes for the 24-25 school year. So TK is now officially the entry grade to elementary. So if you are applying to TK for the year 24-25 and you're assigned to an elementary school that has a kindergarten, your child can automatically matriculate to kindergarten at that school without doing the lottery again. So those of you who have been with us for a while may remember that we used to have all TK students do the kindergarten lottery. We understood from your feedback that that was not, creating stability for the students or for the families. And so we were able to have that changed. So now you can go ahead if your student is applying for TK and they're at a school that has a kindergarten, they're totally fine to continue there. The second important change that we have are the sibling priority. So we also heard your feedback about that. And basically now the way the policy is, if you have a sibling, either older or younger, your other siblings can now have the priority to join the original sibling in their school. So we used to have it, for those of you that remember, it had to be the younger student can go to the older student's school. But now we've made it that even if your younger student, let's say in the main round, gets into your dream school and you would like to move your older student there, you're now able to do so. So these are 2 important changes, and it's all from your feedback. So if there's ever any issues or things that you see and you're like, I want to let the enrollment center know this isn't working for our family, feel free to let us know, because then we're able to help make some policy changes that will make the basically the lotteries more simple for families. So now that you have the information of how to create a list and the process of how we do the assignment system, let's go into submitting the application. So we ask that you choose only one method to submit the application, and the preferred method would be to use our online application. So it's very easy to use and to navigate. And like we said, we're always here to help you. But if you prefer to do the paper application, that's totally fine as well. Once you complete the application, just take a picture of it or scan it, and along with all the documents, and email it to us at enrollinschool@sfusd.edu. Or if you prefer to hand it to us in person, just remember our offices are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. And if you decide that you would like to go after hours at our Franklin Street office, we do have a drop box that's available until about 7 p.m. So just know that we have all these different options to help you get your application in on time. But as we said, the preferred method would be the online application. The way to do that would be through Parent View. So our Parent View is very simple to create one and to log on. Once you have created your Parent View account and logged on to it, please look to the top right. You will see an orange tab that says Online Forms. And then from there, you can fill out the 24-25 school year application. If for some reason you've forgotten your password, not to worry. You can use one of these 3 steps to reset your password or reach out to me directly. I can also help you to reset your password as well. So if you decided, though, that you did want to do the paper application, you can actually find it at sfusd.edu/enroll. And you'll see there a tab on the left-hand side that says Applications and Forms. So if you would like to download it, you can do so online, or if you prefer to come to our office, we also have them there for you as well. So just a short recap, and then we'll get to your questions. So remember the steps to enroll. I strongly suggest that you sign up for enrollment updates. I know February seems pretty far away, or you may have already turned in your application, but you would like to change some things on it. This just helps to keep you informed. So if you could please sign up for our updates, that would be great. To create a great school list using our School Finder or enrollment guide, just remember, if you're applying with us, we recommend 5 or more schools, but if you are applying for kindergarten, we highly recommend at least 10. And then after you have your list, you've done your tours, you have everything together, feel free to submit your online application or paper application to us by February 2nd of 2024. So for instance, let's say you turned in the application tomorrow, you're eager, you got it in, but then you go on a couple of school tours and you say, well, I like some more schools and I actually can put some more on my list. That's totally fine. We encourage it. You can actually go back to the online application and select the 24-25 school year one and create a new application, which will override your original one. So you can do this as much as you like until February the 2nd. Whichever application, the list and order that you've submitted to us by February 2nd is the one that we're going to use. So just be careful if you're going back to change anything that you do so by February the 2nd. And then from here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm happy to answer the questions. Now, just in case really quickly, just because there are a lot of us here, I'm going to put my information again in the chat. So for those, oh, I'm sorry, I think I just sent it to one person. 1 second. Let's do everyone in the meeting. Okay, there you go. So for those of you who do have to leave, totally not a problem. Just go ahead and feel free to reach out to me directly. My phone number with extension is there, my email, and also a link to my calendar. So feel free to reach out to me that way. I'm going to start with the questions in the chat, and then I will go to those of you who have your hand raised. Thank you for your patience with this. Okay, so if you've moved recently, but the parent's ID, okay, no, the parent's ID, the address that's on there does not have to match the proof of address, but the names do. So just make sure that if it's dad submitting and you're using his ID, that it's dad's proof of address, or at least that he's on the birth certificate so we can match it all up. Good question. Good question. So how do we access the list of CTIP areas? Yeah, if you would like to message me privately, I can actually, and this goes out to anyone who wants this information, I can send you where you can see the CTIP and which areas they are specifically. Our preference given to families who apply before the February deadline. Okay, so no, the February deadline is when we take all the applications from there and then we do the lottery process. So please don't feel like if you turn it in now, you have a greater chance of getting your school than if you turned it in later. Perfect. Everyone is given equal consideration. Yes. So for TK 2024, should we still be aiming to apply to 10 schools? For TK, we asked as many as possible. Again, that work for you and your family. So please be realistic. I mean, if a school is literally completely across town, there's no way you could ever make it there. Don't feel pressured by us that you have to put that school on your list to make 10. But what we're basically saying is please be creative with your list. So for instance, yes, you of course want to apply to the ones by your home, but think about what's the route that I take to work? Are there some schools along that route? Are there routes to grandma's house? Or are there schools that I could apply to that's by the grocery store? Places that you frequent a lot. Those might be ones that you add to your list. But for TK, yes, we understand they're not in every school, but we have added to a lot of schools than we did in the past. So please take a look at the ones that we've added for the 24-25 school year. And if you would like a list of those, feel free to send me an email. Okay, so how can you tell if an elementary school offers a FLES program and which ones that offer language? Yes, so if you go to our SFUSD School Finder, it's great because you can also go ahead and filter it by the language that you're looking for, and it will let you know if it's an immersion or a FLES program there. So that's a great question as well. Okay, so let's see. If you apply to TK 24-25, or 23-24, does that mean you have to reapply to K? Yes. So if you are currently in TK right now, yes, you do need to apply for kindergarten for next year. But those of you who are applying for TK for 24-25, then you can go ahead and stay at the school if you so choose. Let's see. So yes, I will actually share the slides with you guys now. One moment. Okay, so there's the link to the slides, so you can see them there. And that way, if you need to view them after this, and it's also being recorded. So if you would like to see the recording after, you can visit our sfusd.edu/enroll to see it there. Okay, so we have families who are applying to high schools from an independent school. What are his chances of enrollment? So what's great about applying for high schools, we don't have like a feeder to high schools or anything like that. So basically your student will have almost the same unless he attended one of our middle schools, which is called Willie Brown Middle School. They have a priority, but besides that, he'll go in with everyone else. So I'm just going to pause there because I believe that was the point where Mr. Bill, you came in raising your hand. So would you like to ask your question and then I'll go back to the chat.
So if I have twins joining kindergarten for next year, what are the rules for siblings?
Do you have any older siblings attending or no?
No, this would be the first time.
First time. Welcome to SFUSD. So basically what you would need to do is if you need to decide with your twins, if you would like them linked or not. If you decide that you would prefer them not to be linked and just see which one gets into the schools, you can do that. Or if it's more higher on your priority that they go together, that they're guaranteed together, you can put in the application, I would like my twins linked together. So that's more of a personal thing. You have to decide with your family what's more important, but that's basically how it works with twins.
So that means if I don't link them, they may go to two different schools?
In the first round, yes, they could be assigned to two different schools. But let's say one of them gets your first choice, the other one might get your second choice. You can decide which one you would like to apply for the second round to put them together.
Okay, thanks.
Because now they'll have a sibling priority.
Okay.
Yeah, so you kind of, it's taking a little risk, but you have until February 2nd to decide if you want to keep them together or not. Perfect. Thank you for your question. Any other questions before I go back to the chat if you want to raise your hands? Okay. I'm going to continue to answer questions from the chat, but please feel free to go ahead and raise your hand, and then I'll bounce back and forth. Okay. Thank you so far for your questions. They've been really good. So thanks for keeping me on my toes. Let's see here. So if you're already enrolled in TK that offers kindergarten, do you need to apply? Yes. Yes. Just to reiterate. Can you also review the application process for Lowell? Yes, I can. Jolene, I just ask that you please schedule an appointment with me because usually it requires more than a few minutes of just going through it. Anyone who is applying for Lowell, please feel free to call or to schedule an appointment with me and I'll give you a call. More than willing to go over the Lowell process with you. Why is it that people are applying for kindergarten to select at least 10 schools? Yeah. The reason why we suggest that is just because it gives you more of an opportunity to be matched to a school that would work for you and your family. So some of you may have unfortunately heard some of the horror stories of some families are assigned to schools clear across town and they don't understand why it happened. They're like, we listed 5 schools. We thought we would get into at least one of them. And I could totally understand that because it does seem like a lot. But the thing is, if you're applying and then other families are applying for the same school, those schools end up filling up. The reason why your friend or someone you've heard applied and got assigned to a school way on the extreme parts of the city is because all the schools in between that filled up. So that's why we suggest, thinking of more than just 2 or 3 schools that could work for you. And we're saying if you do 10, it's probably more likely you can get matched to one. It's not a guarantee. Please don't come back. It's being recorded and say, Alicia said I would get my school if I put 10. No. We're just asking that you think outside the box and put as many that could work for you and your family. So that way you have more of a probability to be matched to something that could work. But thank you for your question. Okay, our RSP services for IEPs don't need a separate class. Our student is TK process getting IEP. Yeah, if it's something like resource, more than likely you'll be able to apply to any of the schools. But just remember, because the IEP is a legal document, we do need a copy of it. So that way we can make sure that we're matching you with the school that will provide the services that are listed. So if you would like to reach out to me, I'll give you the contact information for our special education counselor, and then she can go over the information with you. Okay, perfect. And that goes out for anyone who needs more information about special education services. Okay, so is there a way to include additional information in the app that should be considered, such as disability of caregivers, or would that just be for appeals? Nice question. Yes, so our online application, unfortunately, there's not a way for you to put any special circumstances at that point. So what our hope is that you all here get something that works for you in the main round. But if, for instance, you don't, and you would like to apply for round 2, and there's something you want to tell us that there's a reason why you're asking for that specific school, a separate process we have is called the appeals process. If you would like more information about that, go ahead and send me an email and I will provide a link for you to see. But we really hope we don't get to that point. Let's just hope that you create a healthy list, you apply, and you guys can all get something on your list before we have to think about appeals and round 2. How and where to sign up for a language assessment. And if a student is learning but not fluent in a language, does that give a better advantage to immersion programs than no fluency at all? Yeah, if the student has been exposed to the language, that's great. That's awesome. So if you would like to have them tested, feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information are in the slides. So if you want to take a look and give us a call to schedule your assessment, if you would like to email me directly, feel free to do so as well. And I'll contact you and we can get a test scheduled. Just note that you need to apply first. So let's say you haven't turned in your application yet, but you would like to have your student tested for language fluency. Not a problem. Go ahead and turn in your application, reach out to us and let us know you would like an assessment. And then from there, what we'll do is after the assessment, the one who gave the test will go over options for you. If your student tests fluent, you can probably leave your list the same, or if you would like to add more immersion schools, not a problem. If your child does not test fluent and you're like, well, I think I want to reorder the list, and put maybe the immersion programs higher. I want them really to get into immersion programs. You can do that as well. So don't feel like once you turn in your application, this is the final one. There's nothing you can do. Nothing is final until February 2nd. So if you go ahead and do the language proficiency test, you can change your order and choices after that. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And thanks for not being so quiet and answering my questions, asking questions. It helps. Thanks for the link to the presentation. Okay. Do you have a link for the recording to the Lowell enrollment? Yes. Heather, I do. So those of you who would like the recording for the Lowell session, go ahead and send me an email and I can get that out to you. How do you know if you live in a CTIP area? Yep. Again, Jolene, feel free to reach out to me, and anyone else, send me an email with your address and then we can look it up, or I'll send you the link of where you can look it up yourself as well. I know you guys sent me some direct messages, so I don't want to answer those with everyone if you weren't looking for it to be answered with everyone. So if that's the case, if you don't mind waiting, I'll respond back to you individually once we finish. But if you don't mind your question being answered to the general public, please feel free to put it back in the chat for everyone to see. Thank you. But I will answer it on the side. So if we applied and, oh, sorry, they jumped up after that. I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, if we applied and were accepted to a general education track at a school with a Mandarin language program starting in K, will we automatically be able to join? So you would need to reapply for the Mandarin language program if you decided you wanted to switch from general English or general education to a language program, because they're two different tracks. Parent View, there is a downloadable app for Android, so you can download the app for there as well. Yes. Where can we find a recording of this? Yep. So it'll be on our sfusd.edu/enroll. If you would like to see a recording, just note it's probably going to take maybe 2 weeks or so to have the recording up. But if you have pressing questions before that, reach out to a counselor, or if you want to reach out to myself, then that's fine too. If your spouse or anyone that wasn't able to attend has specific questions. But we will have this up on our website as soon as possible, but probably a week or two. Okay. Let's see. For language proficiency, is a retest possible? My child is fluent, but maybe he is tired. Those attention. Okay. Yes, they only can apply for the language test once a year. So, if you realize, this isn't a good time for your child to do it, or if you know your child, they're more of a morning person or a late afternoon person, I suggest scheduling the test for that time, because they're only able to take the test once a year. Okay, so what does attendance area mean for tiebreakers? Great question. So basically, every home in San Francisco is assigned to a specific school where you have a priority. It's considered your attendance area school. So what that does is, to try to keep families as close to their homes as possible, we give a tiebreaker or a preference in the lottery, saying this is your school that you can go to. If you apply, you have a way of getting in. It's not a guarantee, because if all the seats have filled up, we can't over enroll because you live in the attendance area, but you are able to apply and have a priority in. So if you want to know which one your attendance area is, please visit sfusd.edu/school finder, and it will highlight which school is your specific attendance area. Request for preschool information. So, preschool is actually a separate department from us, believe it or not. So if you would like information from them, if you go on our SFUSD website and put in early education, it will show you their information and things to apply for preschool. Okay, so for the second round, can you simply add selected top schools? Okay, so for the second round, and I'm going to just kind of keep this short, and if you want more details, please feel free to reach out to me directly. For the second round, you should only list schools that you want more than what you have. You shouldn't go to your 10. None of your schools will be pre-populated in there type of thing. You're starting all over. So please be sure that if you do decide to, and it's an optional, to participate in round two, you're only listing schools that you want more than what you have in case it gets replaced. So just be careful with that. And then what's considered the feeder if we're coming from a private elementary school for a middle school? So unfortunately, you would not have a feeder school because those are only for SFUSD elementary schools to feed into the middle schools. So just please be aware of that. We would need to get all those who have it as their middle school feeder in first before we're able to take those who came from a private school. I'm going to pause it there because I see a hand was raised. Essa, would you like to ask your question?
Hi, good evening. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hi, so I have a question. So, let's say my son is basically going to middle school, sixth grade.
Mhm.
Let's say his feeder school is my second choice.
Mhm.
And if I don't get the first choice, so will I automatically be given the second choice that is a feeder school, or will I miss the feeder school option?
Excellent question. So basically, I want you guys to kind of think about it like hats, and you're putting your name in all the different hats. Your name may come up for all 5 hats, and then we'll give you your top choice. But if your name only comes up for the second one, which would be like the priority that you have, then you would receive that one. So it's not basically you telling us, oh, I can't get into my middle school feeder because I didn't list it as number one. No, what you just want to make sure is that when you do list your schools, make sure you put them in the order of preference. You will have a priority into your middle school feeder, but if you have a school you like more than that one, then go ahead and list it first.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. Are there any others who would like to ask questions by raising your hand? Okay. If not, then I'll go ahead and go back to the chat to answer a few more questions here. So my child will be 6 a week before the school cutoff of 8/19. Can we opt for kindergarten, which is our preference, or would we need to be placed into first grade? Okay, so Hubert, the best way for me to answer your question is I really need your student's birthday, and then I can take a look and see. So if possible, could you please send me an email with your student's birthday, and I will put my contact information again in the chat for you guys just to make it more convenient. And then I can answer that question because off the top of my head, it's hard to think about it like that. I got to see the birthday. 1 second here. Okay, so for anyone who is just joining us, this is my contact information here, including a link to my calendar where you're able to make a 15-minute appointment with me. So that way we can talk about any specifics for your specific child. Okay, thank you for that. Let me go back. Attendance area. Okay, here we go. So my son's going to middle school, 6th grade. Is the second. Okay, yeah, I think we answered that one. Regarding if you would like your second choice for your feeders, totally fine. Just put it in the order of preference. Great. If my child is TK 2425, I want her to consider in the school for kindergarten. Do I still need to apply? Yeah, so that's the new policy now. If your school that you're in, your child is in for TK for the year 2425, beginning then yes, you don't have to reapply. You can stay at that school without applying. So that's, really convenient now for families. Hopefully it'll help create some stability with the school. So to answer your question, that is correct. Is Lowell a separate application for my child with an IEP? Or can I add Lowell? So if your student has an IEP, it depends on what the IEP says. So Christian, please go ahead and reach out to me. I'll send you the contact information for our special education high school counselor. She can review the IEP and let you know if Lowell can be an option to list. Are there any more rounds past round 2? Yes. We have a wait pool round and we also have open enrollment. If you would like more information about that, totally fine. Reach out to me and I'll definitely go over that with you. Are any tiebreakers weighed more heavily than others? Great question. Yes. So from the list that we were talking about, and I'll share my screen again just to make it clear for everyone with the tiebreakers. So notice here that the tiebreaker ranking, if it's the attendance area school, we're looking for those who have siblings, those who live in a pre-K or TK, SFUSD, pre-K or TK, and go to the school in the attendance area and live there as well. Those who are in a low test score area, and those who live in the attendance area. So we're starting with those siblings, get the first pick, second, third, fourth. Citywide schools, same thing, except there is not an attendance area tiebreaker as you see with that. So basically, if it's like a school that has a language, if the language program is the one you're applying to, that would be considered a citywide school. So you'll want to keep that in mind. There's not an attendance area tiebreaker for that. So basically, to answer your question, yes, we do have the rankings, and that's how we are able to see which ones get the priority in. Great question. Can you please put the subscribe link again? Yeah, sure. So I will post that for you guys. Let me get to the correct slide. Here we go. Okay. So this is to answer the question of the subscribe text. This is where you can do subscribe or subscribe for text. Some school have the name alternative school. What does that mean? You finally got me. You stumped me with that one. I do not know why they call Clarendon alternative school. I can find out for you. I was waiting to see. I was on a roll answering them, but you stumped me with that one. So Ryan, send me an email, please. I'll get an answer for you. But I do not know why they call the school is the same. It does have the JBBP program in it. So, I mean, that's alternative, I guess, but that's not why it's called that. But I'm assuming it has something to do with their learning style. But I will get a clear answer for you. Reach out to me. A school we are interested in for middle school is no longer offering tours. They told me they won't offer anymore. Any advice? Yeah, Joe, I'm sorry if the school tour filled up. My suggestion would be to use the school finder. And then from there, what it will do is it'll take you to the school's website. You can see videos, you can see offerings, you can see start times. They take you on a little, like round the campus thing in the video. So that can give you more of an idea. If there's specific things you want to know about the school's email is also listed there. So you can send them an email asking questions that you may have. So don't let that deter you from, applying to the school. I would just use the school finder. And I can put a link to the school finder in for families. And I'll also put a link here to the enrollment guide as well. Okay, so it's in the chat. If you're looking for a school list, go ahead and use our school finder or enrollment guide. And then you can see where you can find the school videos there on their website. Okay, is MEC only for Spanish speaking immigrants? Can local English speaking apply for the dual language immersion here? So recently, MEC has opened their TK for immersion for Spanish, but you would need to transfer schools because that school is specifically designed for students who are new to the country, trying to learn to speak English. For more details about that, again, feel free to reach out to me directly, anyone who has more questions about it. But for upper grades, like kinder, first, second, they are not doing at this time. It may change, things change with our schools, but at this time they are not accepting just English speaking kids. So reach out. I can definitely let you know about the immersion that they do offer, and then what a transition would look like from there. Great question. Feel free if you would like to raise your hand or put another question in the chat. I'm definitely here to answer with no problem. If your elementary school has a feeding middle school, are you guaranteed to get into the feeding school once you have put on your list? So it is not a guarantee. Unfortunately, no. So it is good to have it on your list if that's a school that could work for you, but we cannot guarantee any of our schools because with the lottery process, once it fills up, we can't over enroll them. So just make sure that you list it, and then we can go from there of helping you to get in. How do we sign up for school tours? If you go to sfusd.edu/tours, that's where you can sign up for the school tours. If we end up at a school that we didn't want, can we apply for a different school next school year? I'm assuming that's tougher to transfer though. So actually, you don't even have to wait till the next school year. If in the main round you don't get the school that you're looking for, we do have subsequent rounds. So that would be the round 2. We have the wait pool. We have open enrollment. We have what's called a spring transfer process. So if your student goes ahead and starts school at, let's say, your number 2 choice, but you're still looking for your number 1 choice, you can apply for a spring transfer to transfer by January. So, but for instance, if you're just saying, okay, well, we're good, we'll keep them there for the year, we would like to apply for the next school year, not a problem as well. You can go ahead and do, like you said, apply for the next year. Like you said, it would be a little bit tougher just because most students will stay from kinder to first, but if not, don't worry, we'll try to help you get to a school that works for you and your family. Let's see. There's only a general education option for the Synergy application and no bilingual world language program. Is it going to be automatically assigned placed into the world language immersion? Okay, I'm sorry. This is for high school? Andy, I'm sorry, do you mind coming off of mute and just letting me know, is this for a high school application? Correct. Okay. High school, no, it's not going to show the world language program. That's something you get once you're in the school. So for high school, you need to make sure that you apply to the school that offers the program. And then once you're there, you can do that one too. Okay, perfect. Do we accept our round 1 even if we want to go in round 2? I suggest if there's any way possible that your round 1 school could work for you and your family, yes, please accept it. You can always decline later, but you cannot go back and re-accept it later. So April 5th, you have time to decide if you want to accept or decline. But either way, if you accept your round 1 assignment and you go into round 2, you can do that. If you decline it and you go into round 2, you can do that too. But please talk it over with your family to see if you can accept your round 1 school. Yes, this Zoom presentation will be available online. It might take a week or 2, most likely 2 weeks, but we will get it up there for you guys. Do you have a link for information on wait pool and spring transfer? Yes, I do, but let me see. I know the spring transfer one is still active because that's what we're doing right now. So I will send that link to you guys. Or actually, yeah. Actually, I'm going to just send it directly to you because you're asking for that information. I just don't want to confuse anyone. So give me 1 second here. Okay, so the link I just sent you would be for what we're currently using for the spring transfer. And the wait pool, because it's over, we've taken that information off of our website as to not confuse families. So go ahead and look at the spring transfer information. But if you want more information about the wait pool process, go ahead and reach out to me either by email or if you want to schedule an appointment with me. And just remember, all Calendly appointments that you make with me will be by phone. And I'll call you at the scheduled time. Okay. Besides these private messages, I think I've gotten to the end of the chat questions. The private messages, like I said, I will respond back to them, but if you would like for me to just respond with everyone, that's fine. Can you please just repost it so I know that you're okay with that? If not, feel free to hang out with me a little bit longer, and I'll reply back to all those direct messages that were sent to me. Okay, for anyone else, please feel free to raise your hand or put your question in the chat. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay. Okay, if not, I don't want to hold anyone up. I appreciate you guys all coming tonight. This was great. So again, for those who ask direct questions, please hang out with me for a little bit. I'll answer them directly, privately to you guys. If not, I will definitely look through my emails and answer you guys. But I appreciate you coming tonight. It was wonderful having you here, and I hope you have a great and restful rest of your week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. For those of you who are hanging out with me, if you can just give me 1 second to turn my light on. As you can see, the natural sunlight has left. One moment, please. Okay. Okay, Andy, I'm reading yours now. I'm sorry. Oh, this was from a long time ago. Give me 1 second. I'll reply directly back to you with it. Okay, Andy, I think for your question, we actually answered it for high school. You don't choose the program for there. So just make sure you put the school you're applying for, and then we'll go ahead, and once you get into the school, you can apply for the language program. Okay, I believe this parent left already. Sure. Okay, if a child is already in elementary to transfer to middle school, do we need to re-verify documents? So only if you've moved. If you move, we need an updated copy of your documents. But if not, everything's the same. We just need your ID. Do we have to put Lowell as number one to be considered? No. Christine, you don't have to put it as number one to be considered. Go ahead and put it wherever it fits on the options of schools that you would like. Another question. My child's Mandarin teacher says there will be people coming to the school to assess for AP in the spring. Does this still have to take the proficiency test? Andy, I'm gonna send you the information to our tester for the language programs. I think for this question that you've asked, it's probably better for her to answer it because she's the one that helps, schedule all of those things. So I'm going to direct message you. her contact information. Okay, Andy, I just sent it to you. Perfect. Okay. So those were all the questions, especially those who had direct questions in the chat. Since we're a smaller group, if there is anything you would like to ask, please feel free to do so. If not, like I said, you can definitely go ahead and reach out to me directly. And I'll put my contact information, everything one more time, just in case. Here we go. But if not, I'll stay on for about 3 more minutes and then I'll go ahead and close the room. But thank you so much for coming tonight.
Oh, Alicia, for the linked students, linked just means that they get chosen together, that they're basically acting like one person then? Is that what that means?
So basically what it's saying is that there has to be 2 seats in the school for them to get in. So some parents choose to not link their twins because there might be 1 seat left and their twin gets pulled in for that seat. And then they apply again in the second round to put the other student there in case a seat opens up. So that's kind of the advantage to having them separated. But some parents feel that's too stressful and they don't want to take the chance that they might not be placed together at all. So they go ahead and link them. So if there's not at least 2 seats for them to go together, we move on to other schools to see if they can go into those.
Okay, so the first round, if they're not linked, they'll basically get 2 letters then, right? And you have to
Yeah.
decide what to do, 2
Yeah.
letters.
Yeah. We're going to treat them as separate. We're going to send you 2 letters regardless. We're going to let you know that. But it's just basically when we're doing the process, we're going to tell the system, don't place these 2 kids, together. The parents want them separated. Or others, it might say, put them together.
All right, thanks. And then there's no association between like Mandarin immersion and Cantonese immersion, right?
No, 2 separate pathways. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you froze. Oh, it dropped out. Okay. I'll stay on a little bit in case he comes back.
I'm all good.
Oh, you're good. Okay. Excellent. So I'll keep it open for about a minute or 2 longer. Feel free to ask any questions. If not, then I'll go ahead and close the room. Okay, so it's 6:30. So I thank you guys all for joining me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and close the room. But again, you have my contact information. So please feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye now.